it's always a miracle when a movie gets made. The fact that you were able to make the movie and you were able to keep your vision intact is perhaps even the bigger miracle.
Well, that comes from it not having a budget, right? If I gave up, if I had a budget, I'm going to have to deal with whoever those producers, those investors, what they want, what they might think about, this cut or who the cast or so. One of the gifts of truly independent filmmaking is that the director, in this case me, gets to really execute my vision of this film without interference.
Look at the list. Check out your partner.
I haven't been with another man in over a decade.
I'm 36 years old.
In the beginning of the film, as we watched it, we said, okay, where is this going? And she doesn't seem very comfortable in her skin. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You meet Lauren, my character, at a pretty bad point, right? So, you're hoping that the audience can still connect to her in some way, even though she's kind of sarcastic and she's getting divorced, right? We open with, this very weird sort of mediator scene, which was inspired by my mediating, right? My mediator was one of those people who always said these really horrific things, but said it like it was good news. Like it was just like, this is going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you did it here, and isn't that great? Or, you really are going to have to, I think he did say something like, you're going to have to share your kid with someone else. So Simon Helberg and I met on A Serious Man, and he does by the Coen brothers, and he does a monologue in A Serious Man about a parking lot that has the tone of what I wanted in the beginning of the movie. So this is sort of my homage to that sort of Coen-esque vibe. I think what's interesting about the movie is then we just move into a completely different tone. And so you have to, the beginning of it, I think people are getting oriented and figuring out some of it's sad, some of it's funny, some of it, but I think because of people's watching The Bear or watching Succession, people are now way more comfortable with shifting emotionally. So I feel like people really go on the ride, and I haven't had anyone say I didn't, that was weird. I mean, maybe they're not going to tell me either.
Yeah. The other character that has that sort of tone is Liz, the teacher.
Yes.
The acting teacher also says things that are completely off the wall and inappropriate, and yet she tries right ahead. Where did she come from?
Well, Gaby. So I mean, all actors have taken acting classes, right? Yeah. And I did take there's a rumor out there that this is Leslie Kahn, who's a really famous acting teacher in LA, and she certainly is an inspiration. She has a little dog. She sits very cozy on a couch. But it's really a combination of different teachers. But the funny thing is, we've seen acting teachers like that are, sort of cruel and dominating. They mostly are like that. The reason that you see that is really what most acting teachers are like. So what I was trying to do, because I had a very sort of tropey character, is to have Gaby Hoffman, right, who's a very, very indie, real actress, sort of pushed through this absurd character that we've all kind of seen, that you might feel a slightly different take. And I've been really thrilled that people just think she's so funny and so enjoying those acting classes. I think she did a fantastic job.
Well, she's very deadpan.
Yeah, she's very deadpan.
And tough cookie.
She means what she's saying, and instead of playing the joke, she means it, and she has this line did you read the play? And it's you just know you're in trouble.
Check out your partner.
I haven't been with another man in over a decade.
I'm 36 years old. I shouldn't have even talked to you.
I don't even know if this guy qualifies as a man. He is so young.
The scene where you and Sean perform, and it's a magnificent scene that ends with the kiss. Do
you know that is Rebecca Gilman, that was a play that I did at the Goodman Theater in Chicago called Blue Surge. That is literally a scene from Blue Surge, and I got the rights from Rebecca. She lives in Madison now. She came to see the movie, but I did that play at the Goodman, and I remembered this. They actually use it in acting classes a lot because it's a great scene. I mean, we did switch the genders, but it's about a sex worker and this cop. And anyway, I just love the way that I got. There's all these little Easter eggs in there, and if you know anything about it, then you know you know.
Such a beautiful scene. It's so wonderfully performed. And at the end, Liz says, in 5 minutes, I won't get back.
Yeah, I want my 5 minutes back. Because she's mad that we kissed. Because we weren't supposed to.
I mean, what a crushing blow to an actor.
I know, and you think you're just doing so well. I was also hoping to show Lauren, my character, be really good in that moment so that you would buy like her ability to book a job later, which may or may not happen.
But that's kind of a turning point because the other students there say, "Oh, she's got something."
Exactly right, and so she gets accepted, she gets included, and they try to help her in her career because they can see that she's got talent.
Well, and it's a real odyssey for the rest of the film too, that you find yourself.
Yes,
a little at a time.
Yes, it's it's a comedy of errors. There's a lot that goes wrong for a long time. And I think what's fun is I think people really enjoy the ride. Like it's one thing after another until literally she falls apart, literally. And then you sort of have this very lovely moment with her and Dave, who plays the father of the bride.
Thank you for having us in this stunning home.
It's not actually my house anymore. Deb got in the divorce.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, please, we've all moved on.
Because they've both been through a divorce and they've both been acting in a way that they probably regret at this wedding, and they have this moment of recognition with each other and empathy for each other that I think is really also what the movie is about, is not beating yourself up for stuff that you do that you might regret. It doesn't mean you don't take ownership, but you also have to give yourself some grace and some permission to be an idiot and know that other people are being idiots, and your friends and the people who really love you will always love you through that and help you through it, and you're going to come out the other side.
We have to talk about you and Gen Z.
Yes.
How did your understanding of them come about? And Sean.
So my kid is 21 years old, Iris. I literally had her scrub through the script and make sure that I was on point with all of my jokes about that. I mean, as an actor, I get to be around younger people more than some, maybe because of a cast that I'm in, and so I have access to some of that. But it's definitely having kids. My stepkids are in their 20s. Their friends, the way they talk, and then just making sure someone very cool who knows everything went through and made sure that it all worked.
I have a question too about the scene with you in the kitchen at the wedding when Bradley comes into the room. Obviously, he turned around and the way he looked at you was not like just part of the act. Did you have anything to do with the way you wanted him to play that?
We did it different ways. We did it where it's really obvious that there's a moment between us, and then we did it where it's like no moment between us, and that one was like in between. So it was directed. I mean, it was intentional. This, like, do you see the spark? Do you not see the spark?
Exactly.
But it's great that you picked that up because that was very intentional.
Absolutely.